Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to the 2009-10 NHL season replay on the channel. We are live at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. for tonight's Block 40 in Strat-O-Matic Hockey between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Washington Capitals. And really, when this game came up on the board, was there really any other, came up on a board day, was there really going to be any other choice? These are the current 1-2 teams in the Eastern Conference, so let's take a look at the standings. The Capitals come into this game with a record of 51 wins, 16 losses, and 5 overtime losses. That's good for 107 points, winning the Southeast Division, and the current 1 seed in the playoffs. And actually, no. I think if the Capitals win tonight, though, will they clinch it? Let's see, 109. Pittsburgh would have 8 to go. So yeah, if Washington wins tonight, they actually will clinch the number 1 seed outright in the playoffs. Actually, would they would win even with Pittsburgh getting this game to overtime. So again, Washington wins, they're the number 1 seed. Pittsburgh is trying desperately to stay alive for that. They have also clinched a playoff berth, though, as they have a record of 42 wins, 23 losses, and 8 overtime losses. That is good for 92 points. And as I've mentioned, they have clinched a playoff berth. So, we are all set. We're not going to have too much wasted time. What I am going to do, though, is move these cards back just slightly, so I make sure we keep everything in shot. Okay, everything looks good there. Bad news for Washington, they've got their backup in as Theodore was, for whatever reason, unable to start tonight's game. They're going to have to turn to Semyon Varlamov as Washington try to clinch the number 1 seed. But we'll see how that goes for the Capitals, as we are all set to start this game once I remember to bring my play chart over. Face-offs tonight face-offs to start are +2 to Pittsburgh. 14, that'll be an inferior win. That'll go over to Ovechkin, and we're off and running for Washington. Lose the puck, outside shot only for Crosby. He will let that go from the point. That's a 7, save made. That'll go over to Schultz. Schultz for Washington. Opponent defense 2. Gonchar will take the puck away with an outside shot. Gonchar will try to make a pass. Passing K for Gonchar. Uh-oh. That'll be an inside shot for Crosby. He's going to let that one go. That's a 5, save made, and over to Nubel. Nubel for Washington. Passing F. That'll be an outside shot for Ovechkin. Ovechkin will let that go on gaining the zone. That's a 4, save made, back over to Gonchar. Gonchar will lose the puck, possible breakaway. Right wing, that's Nubel. He's in alone on Fleury. What can he do here? That's a 7. What he'll do is he'll lose that over to Guerin. Guerin for Pittsburgh. Lose the puck, outside shot only for Green. He's going to let that go from the point. That's a 9, save made, and over to Orpik. Orpik for Pittsburgh. He'll lose that right back over to Green. Green for Washington. He'll lose the puck, outside shot only for Dupuis. Dupuis will throw that at the net. That's a 7, save made, and over to Ovechkin. Ovechkin looking at passing E. That'll be an outside shot for Nubel. Nubel's going to throw that at the net from the point. That's a 2. That's a goal on a 1-13. And score! Mike Nubel putting the Capitals up early here in the first period. 1-0. Arena cheers. Yay! That'll be Nubel from Ovechkin. And let's see, anybody with a 9? No. And Backstrom. As Washington takes an early 1-0 lead here in the first. We are 8 cards deep into the first period. Face-off, the teams are going to come back to center ice, where face-offs are once again +2 to Pittsburgh. An 11 will be a superior win. That'll go over to Gonchar, and the Penguins are now looking for the equalizer. He'll lose the puck, outside shot only for Backstrom. Backstrom will throw that at the net. That's an 8. That's a rebound chance. Offensive right D, if offense rating 3 or more. Green is a 4. He will have a rebound shot, throwing that at the net toward Fleury. That's a 3. That would be a goalie rating if the Capitals were on the playoffs, but instead, Fleury's going to freeze the puck, and we'll get a face-off here to the left of Fleury. And we want this face-off dot. Face-offs are +2 to Pittsburgh. 10 will be a superior right wing win. That'll be over to Guerin, and we're off and running. That'll be an inside shot for anybody. They will give that to Crosby. Backstrom will try to intimidate. Backstrom will intimidate, take the puck away, but a possible penalty. 1 to 12, no penalty. That's a 16, so we will have a power play for Pittsburgh. But it'll be a power play 16 once I do the forwards line change and flip over 3 cards. And since I see already we don't have any all 4 rated defensive players, it'll be a no shots power play for Pittsburgh. One, 2, 3. We'll take that face-off just outside the Washington zone. Face-offs now are even. A 17 will be a visitor win. That'll go over to Orpik, and we're off once again. Passing D for Orpik. He'll lose the puck. Outside shot for Leitch. Leitch will try to make a pass. Passing J will be an inside shot for Morrison. Morrison will let that go. A 4. Save made. They'll give that to Gonchar. Gonchar for Pittsburgh. Opponent defense 8. Schultz will take the puck away with an outside shot only. He's going to throw that at the net from the point. That's a 6. He'll lose that over to Ponikarovsky, and we'll have a defenseman line change. That will be Ponikarovsky with the puck for Pittsburgh. Passing E will be an outside shot for Fedotenko. Fedotenko will try to make a pass. That'll be an inside shot for anybody. He'll give it to Malkin. Malkin will throw that at the net from the slot. 5. Save made, and over to Brendan Morrison. Now we got to actually specify which Morrison. He'll lose the puck. Outside shot only for Fedotenko. Fedotenko will throw that at the net. That's a 9. Save made, and over to Leitch. Leitch for Washington. Inside shot for anybody. Opponent can try to intimidate. They will give that to Morrison. Malkin will not try to intimidate. That'll be an inside shot for Morrison. That's a 6. He'll lose that over to Fedotenko. Fedotenko for Pittsburgh. Opponent defense 2. Leitch will take the puck away with an outside shot. Leitch will try to make a pass. That'll be an inside shot for Semin. Semin will have that in the slot. That's a 9. That's a goalie rating on Fleury. 5, 8, and 9 are bad numbers. That's an 11. Save made by Fleury. He will give that over to Letang, and Letang with it for Pittsburgh. Opponent defense 10. That'll be a penalty on Shane Morrison. We'll have a forwards line change. Then we'll flip over our cards. Then we'll see what kind of power play Pittsburgh is going to have. Washington getting out to a 1-0 lead early in the first, and it's been relatively quiet so far. 1, 2, 3. And a 2 is checking the left defenseman for his defense rating. Morrison is a 4. So that'll be an outside shot for the right wing. First up is Kennedy with an outside shot. That's a 5. That'll be a save. And an inside shot for the left wing, up to Cook. Cook for Pittsburgh. That's a 9. That's a goalie rating on Varlamov. 3, 7, and 9 are bad numbers. That's a 6. That's a rebound chance. Offensive right wing. That is Kennedy with the rebound shot. That's a 5. And a save made by Varlamov. Arena cheers. Yay! We'll take that face-off just outside the Washington zone. Face-offs now are +1 to Washington. A 10 will be a superior win. That'll go over to fair, and we're off once again for Washington. He'll lose the puck, outside shot only for Letang. Letang will throw that at the net. That's a 3, save made over to Bellinger, who gets the rebound. Opponent defense 5. Stahl will take the puck away with an outside shot. He will try to make a pass. Passing K will be an inside shot for Cook. Cook will have that in the slot. He'll let it go. A 9 is a goalie rating on Varlamov. That's a 5. Save made by Varlamov. He'll give that over to Fleischmann. Fleischmann for Washington. Opponent defense 3. Kennedy will take the puck away with an outside shot. He's going to try to make a pass. Passing J will be an inside shot for Cook. Cook will have that in the slot. He'll put it on net. 5 is a save made, and that'll go over to fair. Fair for Washington. If I can get my nails under the card. Opponent defense 6. That'll be an outside shot for Fleischmann. Fleischmann will try to make a pass. That'll be an inside shot for Bellinger. Bellinger will throw that at the net. That's a 5. Save made, and over to Kennedy. Kennedy for Pittsburgh. He'll lose that right over to Fleischmann. Fleischmann lose the puck. Outside shot only for Eaton. Eaton will throw that at the net. That's a 7. He'll lose that over to Poti. Poti, last chance for Washington. Opponent defense 11. That'll be a penalty, which we'll have at the start of the second period. But there's the horn to end the first period. Washington, after 1, holding a 1-0 lead here at home, as the Capitals are trying to clinch the number 1 seed here in the Eastern Conference. So as usual, I'm going to do my cleanup, and then we will get set for the second period of this game. We will be starting with a power play for Washington. A little bit of Saturday Night Hockey on the channel for your viewing pleasure, folks. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. In case you're wondering why I've gone silent, I'm just doing my usual shuffle off camera. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Forwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Defensemen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Forwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Before we start the second period of this game, I will remind you guys that there is a poll live on my community tab in my YouTube channel for how you want the playoffs to be laid out in terms of, do you want the East to be in Strat and the West and inside the crease, or the other way around? Make sure you vote on that. Anyway, we are all set to start the second period, but we've got a penalty carrying over for the Penguins. So they will start the period on the power play. 2, 3. And Washington will be looking at an 11 power play. If the right wing is a 3 or more on defense, he is not. So we'll start off with an outside shot for Schultz. That's a 9 on an outside shot. He'll lose that over. Then we'll have an outside shot for the left wing. That'll be Ovechkin. That's an 8. That's a rebound chance. Defensive right wing, if defense rating 3 or more. Guerin is a 1. So opponent has a rebound shot. Uh-oh, not the guy you want with a rebound shot, Ovechkin. That's a 5. Score! Alex Ovechkin strikes for the Capitals to start this period with a power play goal and a 2-0 lead for Washington. Arena cheers. Yay! Capitals are trying to clinch home field, are trying to clinch the number 1 seed in the West and Eastern Conference. We'll try to get some assists out of this one. That'll be Backstrom. And Newble. This line so far has done all the damage for Washington tonight. We'll bring the teams back to center ice as it is electric here at the Capital One Arena. Faceoffs are +2 to Pittsburgh. In 18, there will be an inferior win. That'll be the right defenseman. That'll be Green. And we're off once again. He'll lose the puck. Outside shot only for Crosby. Crosby will throw that at the net. That's a 7. Save made. They'll give that to Schultz. Possible breakaway. Uh-oh. Right defenseman, if the breakaway penetration rating is 2 or more. Green is a 4. He's in on Fleury alone. What can Green do with this breakaway? A 2 is a goalie rating on Fleury. 5, 8, and 9 are your bad numbers. That's an 11. Save made by Fleury. They'll give that to Crosby. Crosby for the Penguins. Looking at passing D. That'll be an inside shot for Guerin. Ovechkin will not try to intimidate. Guerin with an inside shot. He'll let that go. That's a 4. Save made by Varlamov and over to Green. Green for Washington, looking at passing F. That'll be an outside shot for Ovechkin. Ovechkin will take the outside shot. That's a 6. Save made and over to Guerin. Guerin for Pittsburgh. Opponent defense 2. Ovechkin will take the puck away with an inside shot. Guerin will not try to intimidate. Ovechkin's going to throw that one at the net. An 8 is a rebound chance. Offensive left defenseman. Schultz with a rebound shot. That's an 11. That's a goal on a 1-14. And score! Jeff Schultz giving the Capitals a 3-0 lead here in the second. Arena cheers. Yay! That'll be Schultz from Ovechkin and 1 assist only. So since I followed the line of play back to Ovechkin, he'll be our only assist on the goal. The Capitals now holding a 3-0 lead on this one. Oop. Faceoffs are +2 to Pittsburgh. In 18 will be an inferior win, though. That'll go back to Green, and the Penguins need to get something going here quick. He'll lose the puck. Outside shot only for Orpik. Orpik will let that go from the point. That's a 9. He'll lose that over to Newble. Newble for Washington. Lose the puck. Outside shot only for Dupuis. Dupuis will throw that at the net. That's a 12. Save made over to Backstrom just in time for a forwards line change. Yep. There we are. That is Morrison with the puck for Washington. He'll lose the puck. Outside shot for anybody. They will give that to... They'll give that to Ponikarovsky. Semin will not try to intimidate. Ponikarovsky with an outside shot. That's an 8. That's a rebound chance. Offensive right wing, if offense rating 3 or more, Fedotenko is a 3. He will have a rebound shot. That's a 12. Save made by Varlamov and over to Green. Green for Washington. Opponent defense 3. Orpik will take the puck away with an inside shot. Green will try to intimidate. Green will intimidate. He'll take the puck away. Green for Washington. Opponent defense 10. That's going to be a penalty on Orpik. 1, 2, 3. We'll deal with the defenseman line change, and then we'll see what kind of power play Washington is going to have. A 12 on the power play is checking the right wing defense rating. If he's a 4, he is not a 4. So that'll be an inside shot for Semin. He's going to let that go. That's a 9. That's a goalie rating on Fleury. That's a 4. That would be a face-off. And the other play is a rebound shot for anybody. They will give that to Leitch. Actually, they'll give that to Semin on the rebound. That's a 6. That's a goalie rating on Fleury. That's a 10. That's a rebound. Defensive right wing, if defense rating 2 or more. Fedotenko is a 2. He will shut it down. Arena groans. Ugh. We'll take that face-off just outside the Pittsburgh zone. Face-offs are even. An 8 will be a home right wing win. That'll go over to Semin, and we're off and running. Opponent defense 6. That'll be an outside shot for Leitch. Leitch will take the outside shot. That's a 3. Save made and over to Fedotenko. Fedotenko for Pittsburgh. Passing F. That'll be an outside shot for Ponikarovsky. Ponikarovsky will try to make a pass. He'll lose the puck back over to Leitch. Leitch will intercept it. Leitch with the puck. Opponent defense 9. Fedotenko will take the puck away. Outside shot only. Fedotenko needs to put something in the net. 7. Save made. That'll go over to Semin. Semin for Washington. Opponent defense 1. Ponikarovsky will take the puck away with an outside shot. He's going to try to make a pass. Passing J. That'll be an inside shot for Malkin. Malkin will let that go from the slot. That's a 7. That's a goalie rating on Varlamov. That's an 8. Save made by Varlamov. They'll give that over to Pody, and we'll have a forwards line change. Pody with it for Washington. Passing D. He'll lose the puck. Outside shot for Stahl. Stahl with it for Pittsburgh. He lets that go. 7. Save made over to Pody. Pody with it. That'll be opponent defense 5. Eaton. That'll be an outside shot for Bellinger. Bellinger will throw that at the net from the point. That's a 7. Save made over to Stahl. Stahl for Pittsburgh. Opponent defense 9. Bellinger will take the puck away with an outside shot only. He'll gain the zone. Heavy pressure, but here comes the shot. 4. Save made by Fleury. That'll go over to Kennedy. He'll lose the puck. Outside shot only for Pody. Pody will throw that at the net. That's a 7. He'll lose that over to Letang. Letang for Pittsburgh. He'll lose the puck. Possible breakaway. Uh-oh. Left wing, if the breakaway penetration rating is 3 or more. Fleischmann is a 4. He's in alone on Fleury. That's a 9. That's a goalie rating on Fleury. That's a 12. Save made by Fleury. They'll give that to Letang. Letang for Pittsburgh. Passing D. He'll lose the puck. Outside shot for Bellinger. Bellinger will try to make a pass. That'll be an inside shot for Fleischmann. Fleischmann will let that go from the slot. That's a 7. That's a goalie rating on Fleury. That's an 8. Score! Tomas Fleischmann giving the Capitals a 4-0 lead. Arena cheers. Yay! Let's see. Inside shot, I think that was from Bellinger. And just trying to see if I can end fair. Just making sure that wasn't a 1-assist card. And the Capitals now lead this one 4-0. We'll bring the teams back to center ice. Faceoffs are +1 to Washington. A 12 will be a superior win. That'll go to Morrison, and we're off once again. Looking at opponent defense 8. Letang will take the puck away with an outside shot only. Pittsburgh needs to get something going here. 8, that's helpful. That's a rebound chance. Offense, any player with an offense rating 3 or more. That'll be Kennedy with the rebound in the slot. That's a 7. That's a goalie rating on Varlamov. That's a 10. Varlamov will freeze that one. He'll get the face-off. We'll take that face-off to the right of Varlamov. Face-offs remain +1 to Washington. An 8 will be a superior right-wing win. That'll go over to Fair, and we're off with it once again. Opponent defense 4. Cook will take the puck away with an outside shot. He's going to throw that at the net. That's a 7. Save made, and over to Bellinger. Bellinger for Washington, passing E. That'll be an outside shot for Fleischmann. Fleischmann will try to make a pass. Passing L will be an inside shot for anybody. He will give that to Fair. Fair will have that in the slot. He's going to put that on net. 10. Save made over to Stahl. Last chance for Pittsburgh. Lose the puck. Inside shot for anybody. They will give that to Fair. Cook has to try to intimidate. On a 1-9, he will intimidate. He'll fail to take the puck away, but a possible penalty. 1-9, there is no penalty. That's a 14, so once again the Capitals will start the third period on the power play, and there's the horn to end the second period of this game. Washington teeing off on the Penguins, trying to clinch home ice throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs. They lead this one 4-0 as we get set for the third period of this game. As usual, this late in the season, I don't know what our next game is going to be yet, because we're going to pick that on the fly after we do Final Score Hockey from Downey Games. And I've been looking at the games for Block 41 as well. Well, before we get into that, we're also going to have a product unboxing tonight, so hopefully you guys will indulge me and stay tuned after we wrap tonight. But I was looking at the selection for board games in Block 41, and it's kind of, honestly, it's just, most of them are just, in terms of the standings, most of them are kind of We are going to see some changes, though, as Pittsburgh is going to go to 3 offense, 3 forecheckers, and they're going to swap out Fleury for Brent Johnson. Fleury has just gotten absolutely shelled tonight. Not a good night to get shelled. I adjusted the wrong thing. Penguins want to go to 3 offense. They need to open up this offense desperately. Unfortunately for the Capitals, unfortunately for the Penguins, I should say, they're starting the third period on the penalty kill. I'm just getting everything ready for the third period of this game. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Defensemen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Announcer is going to take a quick hygiene, I just did it again. Hydrate break. Just going to check on my phone real quick. just to make sure there's nothing else going on tonight. Okay. Well, hopefully you guys are enjoying a little bit of Saturday night hockey on the channel. Even though it's been pretty one-sided, looks like the camera is all good there. So we're going to flip over our 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. And we'll see what kind of power play Washington is going to have. 20 is if all 4-rated defensive players. They are not all 4-rated defensive players, so that'll be a nothing-happening power play. The Penguins needed that one desperately. And we will see how the Capitals, if the Capitals can hold on to this 4-0 lead. Face-offs, though, are +1 to Pittsburgh. A 4 will be a superior win all day long. That'll be a win for Guerin, and the Penguins are off. He will lose the puck, inside shot for anybody. Opponent will try to intimidate. They'll give that to Ovechkin. Guerin has to try to intimidate. He will take the puck away, but a possible penalty. On a 1 to 12, actually on a 1 to 9, there's no penalty. That is a 1, so Guerin will have that. We'll play on. Passing D. He'll lose the puck, outside shot for Backstrom. Backstrom will try to make a pass. Passing K will be an inside shot. Oh boy. Ovechkin with an inside shot. He's going to let that go. 6. Save made. That'll go over to Dupuis. Dupuis for Pittsburgh. Passing E. That'll be an outside shot for Guerin. Guerin's going to throw that one at the net. That's a 7. Save made and over to Backstrom. Backstrom with it for Pittsburgh. Opponent defense 6. Looking at Crosby, he'll take the puck away with an outside shot. Crosby will throw that at the net. That's a 6. That's a goalie rating on Varlamov. That's a 9 and score! Sidney Crosby breaks the shutout and he gets the Penguins on the board late here in the 3rd period. Penguins now trail 4-1. Arena groans. Ugh. Let's see, that was... So that'll be from Guerin. And... Gonchar. As Pittsburgh gets a much needed goal from Crosby, but the Penguins still have a long way to go. Face-offs, as we bring the teams back to center ice, remain +1 to Pittsburgh. Actually, +2 to Pittsburgh. And a 4 will be a superior win. That'll go to Guerin, and we're off. He'll lose the puck, outside shot only for Ovechkin. Ovechkin throwing that at the net from the point. 7 is a save, and over to Orpik. Orpik for Pittsburgh. That'll be opponent defense 1. Green, that'll be an inside shot for Dupuis. Nubel will try to intimidate. Nubel will just barely intimidate, he'll take the puck away. Nubel with it now, he'll lose the puck, outside shot for anybody. They will give that to Crosby. Backstrom will try to intimidate. Backstrom will intimidate, but a possible penalty on Backstrom. 1 to 12, no penalty. That's a 7. We'll play on into a forwards line change. That is Brendan Morrison with the puck for Washington. Looking at passing F. That'll be an outside shot for Semin. Semin will try to make a pass. He'll lose the puck over to Malkin. Malkin for Pittsburgh. He'll lose that over to Morrison, and there's a typo on this card. Opponent is very much misspelled on card number 7. Opponent defense 7. Malkin will take the puck away for an outside shot only. Malkin will let that go. That's a 7. Save made by Varlamov over to Semin. Semin looking at passing E. That'll be an outside shot for Morrison. Morrison will try to make a pass with it. That'll be an inside shot over to Leitch. Leitch will throw that at the net from the slot. That's a 9. That's a goalie rating on Johnson. 7, 9, and 11 are bad numbers. That's a 9. Score! Brooks Leitch restores the 4-goal margin for the Capitals. as Washington now leads 5-1. Arena cheers. Yay! That'll be from Brendan Morrison and from Semin as I'm following the flow of play. Face-offs now are even. 14, that'll be a visitor win. That'll go over to Gonchar, and we're off once again. Lose the puck, possible, actually, we're looking at offense 3. Inside shot for, that'll be an inside shot for Orpik. And Green will try to intimidate. Green will intimidate. He'll take the puck away into a defenseman line change. Pody with it for Washington. Looking at opponent defense 8. Eaton will take the puck. Outside shot only for Eaton. That's a 10. Save made by Varlamov over to Semin. Semin for Washington, looking at passing E. That'll be an outside shot for Morrison. Morrison will try to make a pass. Inside shot for Leitch. This is how Washington scored their last goal. Let's see if history repeats itself. No, it won't, because that'll be a save and over to Malkin. Malkin for Pittsburgh, looking at passing C. That'll be an outside shot for Fedotenko. Fedotenko will throw that at the net. Pittsburgh getting desperate here. 10. He'll lose that over to Leitch. Leitch for Washington. Opponent defense 11. Fedotenko takes a very ill-advised penalty. He'll go off for elbowing. 1, 2, 3, and we have a forwards line change. I've already flipped over the 3 cards, so we don't have to worry about that. We will see what kind of power play Washington is going to have, though. 3 is checking the left defenseman. If his defense rating is a 4, it is not. So that'll start off being an inside shot for anybody. They will have Fleischmann take that inside shot. That's a 10. That'll be a save. Then it'll be a rebound shot for Fleischmann. He's going to follow his own rebound into the net. Uh-oh. 6. That's a goalie rating on Johnson. That's a 6. That's a rebound. Defensive center, defense rating 2 or more. Stahl is a 5. He will have that, and that'll stop the power play. Arena is still pretty electric. They hardly notice, especially with a 4-goal lead and Washington closing in on home ice advantage in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Faceoffs now are +1 to Washington as we're just outside the Pittsburgh zone. A 3 will be a superior win. That'll go over to Fleischmann, and we're off once again. Opponent defense 3. Kennedy will take the puck away with an outside shot. He's going to throw that at the net. That's a 7. Save made over to Fair. Fair with it for Washington. Opponent defense 9. Ooh, that's another penalty on Cook. 1, 2, 3. Pittsburgh picking a bad time to play very poorly disciplined hockey. 1. If the left defenseman is a 2 or more, he is a 2. So that will be an outside shot for the center. So that'll be Bellinger first. He's got that at the point. That's an 8. That's a rebound chance. Defensive center will shut that down. Outside shot for the right wing. That's over to Fair. An 8. That's another rebound. Defensive right defenseman will shut that down. Outside shot for anybody. They will give that to Pody from the point. That's a 10. He'll lose that over the defensive right wing. And finally, we'll have an inside shot for Fleischmann. Fleischmann will let that go from the slot. That's a 5. That'll be a save, and the penalty is once again over. Arena groans. Ugh. Faceoffs are still +1 to Washington. 6 will be a superior right defenseman win. That'll go over to Pody, and we're off and running. He'll lose that over to Eaton. Eaton for Pittsburgh. Outside shot only for anybody. He will give that to... He'll take that himself, actually, from the point. That's an 8. That's a rebound chance. Offensive center. Stahl with the rebound shot. That's a 5. And that's a save made over to Morrison. Morrison with it for Washington. Passing F. He'll lose the puck. Outside shot for Stahl. Time ticking down. Stahl's going to throw that at the net. That's a 7. Save made over to Pody. Brrr! There's the horn to end the game. The Washington Capitals wrap up home ice advantage throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs here in 2009-10 as they take this one 5-1. Arena cheers. Yay! And as usual, I'm going to do my cleanup before we get to Final Score Hockey, so bear with me while I do that. That is a huge win for Washington and a load off their minds. Come on. There we go. Okay. Once again, remember to go vote in the poll for how you want the systems divided when we get into the playoffs, because we are closing in on the playoffs, and I'm going to make the call around that poll. I'm going to make the call around that poll once we play the last block of the regular season, which I'm tentatively scheduling 41, 42 tomorrow, 43. I'm tentatively scheduling the last block of the regular season to be on Thursday. So if you want to influence how the playoffs are going to be structured in terms of the systems that are going to be featured and how they're going to be featured, make sure you vote in the poll before we go off the air on Thursday's block. Excuse me. As for what I'm going to do after I play the last block in the season and the regular season, I haven't decided that yet. I haven't decided. I'm probably going to take at least one day off from hockey streaming, at least. I might take a day off from streaming altogether, but you'll have to stay tuned as we get deeper into this, as we get closer to the end of the season, before I finalize those plans. Once again, it is time to see how the rest of the NHL fared, and to do that, to help with that, we're going to ask our friends at Downey Games, using Final Score Hockey, how the rest of the NHL fared. The Washington Capitals have punched their ticket to home ice advantage throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs with a 5-1 victory over the Penguins tonight. But let's see how the rest of the NHL fared. Starting on March 24th, we've got Montreal at Buffalo. Wow, neither team I don't think wanted this game. Montreal, F16, that is 1. Buffalo, L12, that is also 1 though. Pressure situations all around. Montreal's an E, Buffalo's a C. An E31 won't help Montreal. Neither will a C16 do anything for Buffalo. That one's going to overtime, where the Sabres have a chance to win first. Let's see, an L52, that'll work for Buffalo. They'll take that one 2-1 in overtime. Kings and the Avalanche. Los Angeles apparently didn't want this game. H15 is 1. Colorado, L65 is 7. The Avalanche wanted that one, and they'll get it with a 7-1 victory. Blues and the Red Wings. A big matchup in the Central Division. This could have been a good one to put on the board, too. St. Louis, F34, that is 2. Detroit, K23, that's a big game for Detroit. Let's see what they're doing with this one. A 56 is +2 columns. They were on column K, now they're rolling on column M. A 21 is 2. That's actually also 2. Pressure situations all around. St. Louis is a D. Detroit is a C. A D23 doesn't help St. Louis. A C35 doesn't do anything for Detroit. That game is going to overtime. Detroit with a chance to win first. And since they rolled on column M, I'm going to take that for Detroit. An M46 will get it done for the Red Wings. They will take that 3-2 in overtime. Actually, I think even a K46 would have done it, so that didn't really matter. Battle of New York as the Islanders take on the Rangers. The Islanders, who are playoff bound, have a G51. That is 3. Rangers, who are not, get an F65. That is 4. And that's a pressure situation for the Islanders. The Islanders are an E under pressure. An E25 won't help the Islanders. The Rangers will take that one 4-3. Ducks and the Canucks. Ducks, G46. That is 3. Yes, that is still 3. Canucks, M33. That is also 3. Pressure situations all around. Anaheim's an E. Vancouver's a B. E41 won't do anything for Anaheim. Neither will a B13 for Vancouver. That game's going to overtime, where Vancouver will have a chance to win first. An M22 won't help anything for Vancouver. Actually, yeah, M22 won't do anything. Neither will a G26 for Anaheim, which means that game is going to a shootout. Let's see. Anaheim's a D, Vancouver's a B, round 1. D22 won't help Anaheim, but if B54 will get something for Vancouver, round 2. That's a D26, that won't help Anaheim. A B43, that will help Vancouver, round 3, even though this game is already over. Mathematically, it's over. A D56 will let Anaheim score, but even with that score, the Canucks will take that one. We'll take that one 4-3 in the shootout. Toronto at Atlanta. Maple Leafs, G51, that is 3. Atlanta, F61, that is also 3. Pressure situations all around. Both teams are E's under pressure. An E14 won't help Toronto. Neither will an E21 do anything for Atlanta. That game is going to overtime, where the Thrashers have a chance to win first. An F61 will do it for Atlanta. They'll take that one 4-3 in overtime. March 25th, by the way. Lightning and the Bruins. Tampa Bay, G51. That is 3. Boston's also a G. They rolled a 13, though. That is 1. Tampa Bay will take that one 3-1. Washington at Carolina. Meaningless game now. Capitals, N13, that is 2. Hurricanes, J25, that is also 2. Pressure situations all around. Washington's an E, Carolina's an E. An A52 will help Washington out. An E63 says Carolina will get a huge save out of that one. Carolina now looking for the equal, now looking to take the lead. But an E33 won't get it done. That game is going to overtime, where Carolina has a chance to win first. A J12 won't help Carolina. An N32 won't help Washington either, which means that game is going to a shootout. Both teams are actually seizing the shootout, round 1. Neither team will score, round 2. Carolina will score, Washington will not, round 3. Washington has to score here or this one's over. Washington will not find the back of the net in the shootout. Carolina will take it 3-2 in a shootout. Blackhawks and the Blue Jackets. Chicago, N34 is 3. Columbus, I-55, that is 4. That's a pressure situation for Chicago. The Blackhawks are a B under pressure. A B64 might help Chicago out. An E45 says Columbus can't stop them. Chicago will score, and that game will head for overtime, where Columbus will have a chance to win first. An I-52, that'll work for Columbus. They'll take that one 5-4 in overtime over Chicago. Florida at Montreal. Panthers, G23, that is 2. Canadiens, H15, that is 1. Pressure situation for Montreal. Montreal is an E under pressure. An E55 won't help Montreal out. Florida will take that one 2-1. Rangers at the Devils. New York, E13 is 0. Devils, K25, that is 2. Devils will take a 2-0 victory. Coyotes and the Predators. Phoenix, E16, that is 1. Predators, L15, that is 2. That's a pressure situation for Phoenix. The Coyotes are a B under pressure. A B13 won't do anything for Phoenix, though. Nashville will take that one 2-1. Flames at the Islanders. Wow. Calgary, F11 is 0. New York, J12 is not much better. That's 1. Calgary with a pressure situation. Calgary is a D under pressure. A D51 won't help Calgary, though. The Islanders will take that one 1-0. Wild and the Flyers. Minnesota, F33, that is 2. Philadelphia, J45. J45 is 3. That's a pressure situation for Minnesota. The Wild is an E under pressure. An E55 won't help Minnesota out. Philadelphia will get a 3-2 victory. And actually, Philadelphia had a 66 waiting, which would have been a save. Dallas at San Jose. Stars, G31, that is 2. San Jose, K61, that is 5. San Jose with a 5-2 victory. Los Angeles at St. Louis. Kings, I-46, that is 3. St. Louis, J-36 is 3. That is a pressure situation all around. LA is a C, St. Louis is a D. C11 won't do anything for Los Angeles, neither will a D52 for St. Louis. That game is going to overtime, where the Blues have a chance to win first. Which a J65 will do all day long. St. Louis will take that one 4-3 in overtime. Ottawa at Buffalo in a huge Northeast Division matchup. Ottawa, F22. F22 is 1. Buffalo, J23. That is 2. Pressure situation for Ottawa. The Senators are a C under pressure. A C54 will just barely not help Ottawa. Buffalo will get a 2-1 victory out of that. Wild and the Red Wings. Minnesota, F31 is 2. Detroit, I-51, that is 3. Pressure situation for Minnesota. The Wild is an E under pressure. An E41 won't help Minnesota. Detroit will get a 3-2 victory. Anaheim at Edmonton. Ducks, I-55, that is 4. Oilers, F65, that is also 4. Pressure situations all around. Both teams are E's under pressure, and neither goalie apparently came to play tonight. Anaheim with an E35 can't do anything. Neither can Edmonton with a 51. That game is going to overtime. Edmonton with a chance to win first. An F15 won't get it done for Edmonton, but an I-66 will get it done for Anaheim in their sleep. The Ducks will take that one 5-1. On to March 27th. Calgary at Boston. Calgary, F22, that is 1. Boston, J61, that is 4. Calgary gets beaten up 4-1. Tampa Bay at Buffalo. Lightning, F63, that is 4. Sabres, I-14, that is 1. Buffalo will take a shellacking 4-1. Atlanta and Carolina are both H's. Thrashers roll a 34, that is 3. Hurricanes roll a 51, that is also 3. Pressure situations all around. Both teams are E's under pressure. Atlanta with an E61 will just barely miss. Carolina with an E51 will miss even more. That game is going to overtime, where Carolina will have a chance to win first. An H26 won't help them. Atlanta will just miss with their H51. That game is going into a shootout. Both teams are C's in the shootout. Round 1. Neither team will score in the shootout, in the first round of the shootout, round 2. Carolina will score round 3. Atlanta has to score here or it's over. And Atlanta will score, but the problem is, so will Carolina. Carolina will get that win 4-3 in a shootout. Islanders and the Blue Jackets. Islanders, I-24, that is 2. Columbus, E-33, that is also 2. Pressure situations all around. Both teams are E's under pressure. An E-14 won't do anything for the Islanders. Neither will an E-25 for Columbus. This game is going to overtime. Columbus with a chance to win first. which an E53 won't do for Columbus. Neither will an I-53 will do it for the Islanders. The Islanders will take that one 3-2 in overtime. Dallas at Los Angeles. Stars, G12 is 1. Los Angeles, J54, that is 4. The Kings beat up the Stars 4-1. Devils and the Canadiens. New Jersey, G61 is 4. Montreal, K66 is 8. Montreal will double up the Devils 8-4. Red Wings and the Predators. March 27th, if I didn't mention that already. Detroit, F63, that is 4. Nashville, K22, that is 2. Red Wings will double up the Predators 4-2. Panthers and the Senators. Florida, F61. F61 is 3. Ottawa, H12 is 1. Ottawa picking a bad time to go on a skid as they lose to Florida 3-1. Colorado at Phoenix. Avalanche get a lucky tip of the die there. G62, that is 4. Phoenix, I-14, that is 1. Colorado gets a 4-1 victory. Philadelphia at Pittsburgh. Flyers, G46, that is 3. Penguins, N36, that is also 3. Pressure situations all around. Philadelphia is a D. Pittsburgh is a C. A D22 won't help Philadelphia. Neither will a C13 for Pittsburgh. That game's going to overtime. The Penguins with a chance to win first. Which an N23 won't do for Pittsburgh. Neither will a G16 for Philadelphia. That game is going to a shootout. Philadelphia is a B. Pittsburgh's an A in the shootout. Round 1. Both teams will score in the shootout. Round 2. Neither team will score. Round 3. Both teams will score there. Round 4. Neither team will score. Round 5. Let's see. Pittsburgh with an A42. Actually, both teams, I think. No, Philadelphia doesn't score. Pittsburgh does. Pittsburgh will take that one 4-3 in the shootout. It was taking me a minute to register there. Canucks and the Sharks. A potential preview of the Western Conference Finals, perhaps? Vancouver, J15. That's a big game for Vancouver. And an 11 sends Vancouver to column A. That's a zonk. But a 66 is 3. Sharks, N41. That is 4. And somehow Vancouver hanging with the Sharks, but Vancouver's got the pressure situation. They are a B under pressure. A B16 won't help them out. San Jose will get a 4-3 victory. Rangers and the Maple Leafs. New York, H41, that is 3. Toronto, I-34, that is also 3. Pressure situations all around. Both teams are E's under pressure. A 16 won't help anything for New York. 55 won't do anything for Toronto. That game is going to overtime, where the Maple Leafs have a chance to win first. An I-13 won't do anything for the Maple Leafs. An H-13 won't get it done either for the Rangers. That game is going to a shootout. Both teams are B's in the shootout. Round 1. What did we say? Both teams are Bs in the shootout, so both teams will score there. Round 2. Neither team will score. Round 3. We're looking for an unanswered goal, which we won't get there. Round 4. We just finished up because Toronto scores, New York doesn't, and we have a 4-3 victory for Toronto in the shootout. That is your final score hockey, thanks to Downey Games. If your team won tonight, congratulations. If they didn't, there's always tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, let's take a look at what we've got for feature games, what we've got for games on the schedule. Let me look at the standings first, see if I need to resort anything in here. I do not. Okay. So, looking at our games on the schedule, we're about to see why most of these are pretty much Columbus at Chicago, first against last. Ooh. Chicago-Detroit could be a really interesting game to put on the board late in the season, but I'm not interested in Columbus against Chicago. And the next game, by the way, will be an inside the crease. Let's see, New Jersey at Philadelphia. 5 points between them. New Jersey is the current 8th seed, fighting for their lives with Toronto. That could be compelling. Speaking of which, Toronto and Pittsburgh. Toronto right now is 1 point away from New Jersey. I'll mark this as a possibility for New Jersey, Philadelphia. Not interested in Toronto, Pittsburgh, especially since I just had Pittsburgh on the board. Colorado, San Jose. San Jose has not clinched the division yet, but they're closing in on it. Neither is Vancouver. Actually, none of the other divisions are wrapped up. Question is, has anybody else made the playoffs yet? Let's see. 8 is 12, 85 points. Actually, Chicago... Have Chicago and Detroit both made the playoffs? Actually, no. Because of board record, St. Louis could still run Chicago down. So Chicago has not clinched yet, but they either need to win or they need St. Louis to lose. So Edmonton, St. Louis could be interesting for that reason. Edmonton's currently the 4 seed, though. Calgary and Washington, not interested in that one. So, I think almost by default, we're going to go to Philadelphia. We're going to go to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia for our next game on the board. That will be an inside the crease hockey, as the New Jersey Devils will be playing the Philadelphia Flyers. As I mentioned, though, we are not done yet here because I just got a delivery in earlier this afternoon that was waiting for me when I got home from Social Group Game Day. So let's crack this open and see what we've got in here. It's a delivery from Blue Panther Games. And you know what Blue Panther usually means. But let's crack this open and find out what's in here. Little bit of a weird box, but it's not terrible. And in here, oh my. We have got the box set for Blue Panther. We have got the box set for Black Flight, historic World War I game from Blue Panther. We're probably going to go ahead and rush an unboxing of this. Black Flight is a solitaire air war game in a narrative style about the Royal Naval Air Service and No. 10 Naval Squadron. Set in 1917, it is the first book of the Great War series of games. It features a mid-sized tabletop footprint and easy-to-learn rules. Gameplay involves dice, cards, and tables. You command a full squadron in a baptism of fire in the skies over the Western Front. Designed by Thomas Van Hare, Black Flight depicts a desperate era of swirling, deadly dogfights during the First World War. Your pilots face intense challenges, combat stress, and the best that the German Imperial Air Service has, including Baron von Baron Manfred von Richthofen's famous flying circus. Welcome to the Ypres salient, the trenches, and the savage skies over no man's land. In the air you constantly turned your head, first to one side and then the other, making sure that nothing was on your tail. This, by the way, was the reason for the traditional silk scarves worn by the fighter pilots. Flight Sub-Lieutenant Raymond Collishaw, Naval 10. So that will do it for this playthrough of... Well, that'll do it for Block 40 of the 2009-10 hockey season. Tomorrow morning, the 2025 Summer of Lovecraft will come to its conclusion as we play Elder Sign against Yogg-Sothoth. This one is for all the marbles, as we are tied at 1. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll be at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, for Block 41 of Inside the Crease Hockey in the 2009-10 hockey season, as the New Jersey Devils will be taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Wednesday, we're doing another book game as we're playing The House on Sentinel Hill. Next week, Mystical Munchies will conclude out of the recipes from the world of H.P. Lovecraft cookbook as we make the drink, the Gibbous Moon. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone. The Washington Capitals put on a dominant performance tonight against the Pittsburgh Penguins and clinch home ice advantage throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs with a 5-1 victory. Once again, take care, and I will see you guys tomorrow.